an art exhibition which is going on right now. The group is South Asian Association Artist Association of America, and the exhibition which right now is going on is called Creating Confluence, Bridging Cultures.
Okay. So you
And
you are exhibiting as an artist?
no, I'm the curator.
You are the
So
curator.
I'm also an art. Yeah, I'm also the artist, but I'm also the curator of the show. So there are 40 artists in the exhibition, and we have this exhibition at Watching Art Center. It's in New Jersey, and it's like a beautiful exhibition. And actually, about the group also, there we have more than 100 artist members in this group, and which we have organically connected via where we meet and all. But we have had some exhibitions in the past. The current exhibition is at Watching.
What does it spell like?
Spelling the venue. The venue is Watching, WATCHUNG.
All these artists are all Indian Americans.
So in this, yes, like almost 99% you can say is Indian American, and one is from Sri Lankan American. Yeah. So that's why we call it South Asian. We have members from Nepal also in the group. So we thought let's be a collective and start. But yeah, that's the state right now. But most of them from India.
Tell me, Nupur, how did all of this collective, the idea of this collective, how did it begin, and whose idea was it? Did you conceptualize it, or you joined it later as a curator? I need to know some background.
Okay, so in this group, in from 2016 onwards, I also my art career also professional art career became active during that phase. Uh, when we used to meet some of our artists, we used to meet at art exhibitions and all. So we thought, okay, now why don't we make a WhatsApp group so that like we can go to each other's exhibitions, or if we have any issues, we can connect with each other. So the concept started from there. Me and some of my artist friends, we joined together and formed a like small WhatsApp group. Like initially, we were just 4 5 of us, and then we used to go to different shows, and if you meet somebody from Indian origin and all, they used to join the group. And gradually, okay, somebody else also, they if they knew somebody, and they used to add them to the WhatsApp. It was just a WhatsApp group initially for a longer time. Then we also had on social medias, like we had a Facebook group and all also. But during those phases, since we are growing, we are also doing shows. Some of the galleries started getting interested in us, so I said, why don't we? Earlier, we used to participate in group shows with all American artists also. And now also we do that. Like that's the main forte. Then some of the galleries started becoming interested. It's like, no, we can do only the like Indian American artist exhibitions also. So that also started happening. Some four artist shows to six, like five artist shows, and like 10 artist shows also, like small groups during those days, like during the gradually the process. And now like 2 years back also we had a big show around more than 30 artists from that region were there in that group show. Last year we decided, I think it's time now we should form a formal name to the group, so that it's like now since galleries are becoming interested in our group, and so a formal name, a formal Instagram ID and everything. So that was created last year, but the group has been there for a long time, like since 2016.
People who are outside of the art world, they do not
Mhm.
know what art curation is. So there is an artist, and then there is an
Mhm.
art curator, there is an
Mhm.
art connoisseur, somebody
Mhm.
who's, who's very collector basically.
Mhm.
So tell me a little, थोड़ा terminology के बारे में बात करते हैं. Tell me about what is art curation.
So curation is like the person who basically connects with the artist. They basically design the artist. Okay, which artists are going to perform. So the curator of the exhibition is the person who basically, I'll say in a layman person, who designs the exhibition. Is like where the exhibition will be, what will be the theme of the exhibition, the name of the exhibition per se, coordinates with who all artists are going to participate in the exhibition, because the curator has the vision, what will be the how the outcome, what will be the outcome, what will be the display on offer. So the curator connects with the artist, okay, which, and then even selects the artwork, and then overall how is it going to manage, and then how is it going to be displayed. In our case, we also, the director of Watching Arts Center was also involved, so he was the juror, and we both collectively decided which artists are going to participate in the exhibition. Though I connected with the group, but yes, we both of us, we decided, collectively selected the artworks to be displayed. And even while we were hanging, installing the artworks, we both were there together installing all the artwork. And then how will we, how we're going to like promote the artwork, how is it going to reach the people, because not only displaying is one part, it's like bringing people to the gallery to see all this work. So all our promotional aspects are there, that also we are working, that's also part of the curator. And how is it going, we are also, we had an artist reception, it was a very good turnout there, even there was some sale. And now again this week we are going to have an artist talk, where artists are going to speak their mind, what were their thought processes behind the artwork, how did they approach the artwork, how did they, how do they approach general art in general, and what are their thought process. So that is right now
What's the theme of the art
the
gallery
show.
display?
Yes.
Yeah,
So this
the show.
exhibition, the name was Creating Confluence, Bridging Cultures. Since almost everybody have migrated, are immigrants, either first generation or second generation immigrants. So it was like a way to connect to our roots. So the artists were given asked the artwork which you can think of, how you can connect to your roots somewhere, even a loosely connected or whatever, like how do you, what do you feel about your roots. So they thought about so they came up with such beautiful ideas, like what do they, and they had their own thought. Everybody, if you see the artwork, everybody has their own way, how do they, what do they think about their roots. So it was whether in India or Sri Lanka or Nepal, wherever they are from in this group, and that's how we approach this exhibition. Yes.
What's the sale like usually in this art gallery? What's the reception like? What's the audience like?
A lot of like it was actually received very well. A lot of people, obviously, a lot of all the art lovers who were connected with all these artists, their clientele, they all were their friends, and they came up to us. A lot of people from the artist world, from different galleries and different art groups, they also came. So it was a great reception, and everybody has appreciated the whole artwork, the whole show. I've received such good feedback and messages for this show. So everybody is like, yeah, because a lot of people used to think, yeah, that they used to find us in smaller groups in different places, but so many of like 40 artists together. It was like it's not much you can do, like
Yeah.
of one community of one segment, yeah, together. So that's what everybody, I've received so many like messages that we can think of something at other venues also, something like that. So like, yeah, sure, we'll do.
So tell me a little bit about your background. When did you move to the States? Are you like, do you still go back to India? Come here, maybe participate in some art shows over here. How does it for you? How does it work for you?
So yeah, I yeah, I moved to United States in 2011 with
Mm-hmm.
when my husband moved here for work. So we were here, and I was in India. I was working with a bank. So over here, initially I thought, okay, let's me do it, but because of some issue, I started going back to my art world, and I started painting in 2000, and I used to basically blog my art initially, and that was getting popular. So 2015, I got my work permit, and then I started doing art exhibitions. I'm basically, my art style is Madhubani painting or Mithila painting, which you call about. It's a traditional art style, and but I have added a lot on my own to that art form. And since then, I've been like one of my first art exhibition, like juried art exhibitions. It was in New York, where the juror was from Museum of Modern Art, and I was one of the awardees amongst all over artists from all over US that time. That was one of my initial breakthrough exhibitions, and since then I've been doing a lot of exhibitions. Now I painted a piano. In the traditional art form, because what I do is that everything is in Mithila painting, Madhubani painting. Some of you may know, and that art form is like that piano was showcased in like downtown New York and then Central Park. It also went on to a popular news channel over here, CBS, and they have a program called CBS Sunday Morning News. So that piano was there in that show live they were playing for that program. And then that piano also from there, it went to Asian Art Museum in San Francisco. So that had a old journey.
Is it the
I'm
same
sorry.
that's hanging? Is it the same piano that's hanging behind? The one
Yeah,
in
the picture. Yes,
the picture.
yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
And that piano was there. And then over there, if some of you may know Disney family. So Disney, from the Disney family, Abigail Disney, she approached me. She wanted to do a mural in her in apartment in New York. So I painted her whole powder room, like on ceiling and walls and everything. That was one of her bigger. I've also been associated with art groups. I have done some work, and last year I have presented my Mithila art in United Nations. And over there, and apart from that, I've also worked with Indian Consulate. When Prime Minister Modi was here, my artwork was approved to when we were going to meet him at the airport. So, and coincidentally, and he got to see my painting. He got to autograph my on my painting, and that picture when he was autographing my work, that actually went viral. Even it was on Prime Minister's all social media channels, like on everywhere. So somehow that that was something a good, like something different. Like I never thought of that.
Yeah.
But and that all those things, yes, I have also been associated with the art groups in New Jersey. And apart from all these, I have done some other work. So those things have been there. Now, since 2016, we have also been involved with the South Asian Association, Artists Association of America. Yes.
That's quite a broad portfolio, diverse, and so much of good, great accomplishments. So tell me, of course, you've told me about your art space, and but what is the thought process when you design something or maybe paint something? Where do you take inspiration from? Um, and what really impacts you as an artist?
So, as an artist, when I think of a lot of things is like from my experiences, from the people I meet to a book I have read or somewhere. Like most of the thing is from experiences, from an article I read. Nowadays, wherever I go. Some of my art is also inspired from my daughter, like since she has been there in my life, what her experience is, how she wants to do. Sometimes she'll come up with something, Mama, if this is something we can do, like what will happen in this of the nature and all those stuff, because children have their own innocent ideas. So
Yeah.
a lot of those stuff also, like I'm painting my art is also a lot of female perspective, is that, and that's the reason when I paint, there you'll see like most of the like main character is a female. So that's another aspect which I always feel.
You focus
Sometimes I feel
on.
okay. I focus on, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what's the art scene in the US? Like, this is a very traditional work that you're doing. It's got
Mm-hmm.
that in Indian blend to it, Indian
Mm-hmm.
cultural blend to it. When you go to the United States and you see the art scene over there, what kind of thoughts do you have? Like, what's the comparison do you make, and what's the art scene in the US like?
So I am next to New York. New York is the contemporary art capital
Yeah.
of the world.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's all about, and I have mostly like exhibited, mostly or almost every time, like exhibited amongst the contemporary artists. Currently, also, my two of my paintings are part of the international juried exhibition at Center for Contemporary Art.
Hmm.
Already spoken to you about the an exhibition where the juror was from Museum of Modern Art. So somehow I have seen, my experience has been that art, even if it's a traditional art from the different part of the world, a lot of like curators and jurors, they see art as how even in a contemporary world, these art forms also in the contemporary world, because of their thought processes and the techniques. It's like if the thought process and the story behind the art form, if that appeals to them, they have like I have been received
Positive.
pretty well. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
they have
a
a very
very
positive
positive.
outlook.
Yeah. So I sometimes I feel like sometimes I joke around, but there are some curators they'll just reject it. So as I joke around, okay, it's like my art is divided. There are some people who love it to the extent that a lot of my paintings have been like bought to say in the homes of the curators or the gallery directors wherever I have exhibited, because they loved it so much that they wanted to buy it. But there are a lot of exhibitions where I was rejected, like
Hmm.
they completely outrightly rejected the art form or whatever. So the both things are there at the same
Yeah.
time. But yeah, but now I've seen people, if the work is good, if the technique is good, if the thought process, if they connect with the thought process behind the artwork, they will appreciate and they will basically they have acknowledged it. Yeah.
Has it something to do with the fact that you're an immigrant?
No, I don't think so, because luckily I'm in that area. Like New York, New Jersey is so such a cohesive group that sometimes we joke around. If you have a group and the languages spoken in that group will be the accents. The accents will be so different of everybody in the group.
Hmm.
This whole
Very
is
diverse.
basically I mean, it's a very
Yeah.
diverse the demography in that sense, the New York and New Jersey. So that ways I never felt that any issues with terms of the, yeah, I could see. That's why I told you a lot of people didn't connect with the art form in a sense, or the style in a sense, or say, oh, this is like, because they were more connected to the contemporary. I won't say contemporary, I'll say abstracts or something,
Yeah.
because contemporary, even this is also contemporary,
Yeah.
even if it's like mithila painting, and traditionally when it was done on the walls, that we can say. But now with the new age themes, like the themes which I am trying to portray, I do some religious, the mythological stories, but sometimes the mythological stories are also presented in a like a more contemporary way.
Contemporary manner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even the nature is presented in a contemporary manner. The social issues are presented in a contemporary manner. So
Yeah.
that ways they connect with those social issues, the nature, even mythological. Like when I was talking about Center for Contemporary Art, a painting about Ardhanarishwara is on display there in the international juried exhibition. So they connected with with our God Shiva and Parvati. So we don't know. Like sometimes it
Hmm.
works. It's
So, Abhi, what's the plan? Like, what's the scene like? What do you want to do with this art gallery? What do you want to do with these exhibitions? Where do you want to take the art scene right from where it is right now to, what are your plans in the future?
So my exhibitions, my personal, one is my personal art career. I want to take it to obviously the biggest of the art galleries, and where we can reach the maximum people, that people know about this art form. Currently, yes, a lot of people art are basically art lovers from the real museums and universities. They know about Mithila art, but the general public, they don't know about Mithila art.
About it.
So
Yeah.
I have been trying to promote there, a lot of them. Apart from that, and for the when we are talking about group, the South Asian Artists Association of America, we have a lot many, like very senior artists, also very experienced artists, also some international artists. We have a beautiful blend of international artists, so many award-winning artists. They have been showing all over the world. They have some. There are a lot of upcoming artists also. There are many artists also who are very talented. They wanted to paint and they wanted to show, but they didn't know how to approach galleries. So we try to help them also, how to, yeah, with all those terms, how to approach galleries, how to speak yeah, how the small stuff, like we had a whole thing. We used to, okay, how to write your artist bio, and how to, like, so there's simple stuff, how to make your own portfolio. So these ways, these are, since we have a good blend of experienced artists also, so they get to interact with those artists. And we always encourage that, support each other. The more we support each other, we go to each other's exhibitions, we learn a lot. I learned that way because I was from a business background. I didn't know
Mm.
anything about art world. So when I started, I used to go to the exhibitions over here, but there was nobody here to tell me that, okay, you're this way, you can go, you're there, you can go. I used to just look for the exhibition. Oh, there is an exhibition, I can go there, I'll go and see. I used to go and see what different kind of art is there in the museums, what different kind of art is there, how do artists write their artist bios, how do they make their own portfolio. Their portfolios are there, so portfolios used to be there somewhere in the gallery. So I used to go and check their artist bio, artist statements, artist resumes. So these were also new terms for me, like
Yeah.
just a few years back. So
Yeah.
these things we try to help others also.
Okay. Okay. So two questions. One, you said you come from a business background, so that means your parents, your family is from a business setup. Is that
No,
what?
no, no. Yeah, no. As actually, I did my MBA in India, so I was working with a bank. So
Yeah.
I was a marketing and business. My parents, my father is a retired IAS officer. He was in Indian Administrative Service, and he is now basically, he after retirement also he is involved with Bihar Vidyapeeth, and we also have an organization called Association for Promotion of Creative Learning. And my mom is involved. She runs a school there. She's the principal of the school, and she is also the basically she coordinates all the activities of that Association of Promotion of Creative Learning. The school is called School of Creative Learning. So my parents are more of educationist and administrative background people. That ways, I was with marketing background, because yeah, marketing and banking background.
I बनना
I'm
है
sorry.
ऐसे.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah. Hmm?
So your father did tell you that if I'm an IAS officer, you have to be an IAS officer, at least to be a diplomat or get into some bureaucratic service. What are you doing? Why are you into artwork? Matlab, I
So
can imagine.
that's another interesting thing. I belong to this region. My father never, like, no, neither me nor my siblings are in the administrative background. My yeah. So the thing is that, yeah, my mother was the first PhD in Mithila art. She did her PhD in, yeah, history and
नहीं पड़ गई
culture of
थोड़ा
Mithila
सा
art.
मतलब she
So
had
हमारे घर में, yeah, in our family Mithila art had all. We are from Mithila,
hmm
so that tradition passed on. I learned the basics of the art form from my mother. So that way, that art form was with me since, like, my birth, you can
bus
say.
yeah.
And yeah, and then I learned from her mother. I used to observe her making art, because for her, art was not the main like career, but it was their part of our life, for all the festivals, rituals, weddings, and all. And since she was good at it, people used to ask her to make, like, that's how the tradition goes there. Like, okay, so someone in the family who is good in making paintings, the Mithila painting, and so for all the weddings, okay, you do it. That's the
Yeah,
tradition way.
yeah.
So that way she used to paint, not the professionally, but yes, she wanted to learn. So for a PhD, she was a topic of history and the culture of Mithila art. So she was that ways we knew about the tradition and culture, and the symbolism and what is the story behind the art. Not only the art, but the story behind that. So that thing was the always there in the family. So I also learned it from my mother, basic stuff. So I till now the only thing was like whatever complete your studies, what you work you want to do, you can do. I was in a bank. I was in Bank of Baroda for 4 years, and then I moved when we decided to move here. Like he got a like transfer. My husband got a transfer from there, and then we said, okay, let me see what I can do. I could have opted for a professional career, but then for a couple of years there are some visa issues and all. For on dependent visa you cannot work. So when I finally got my work, I did one exhibition earlier, but for 2 years I was just blogging. Those days it was not paid blogging, so it was just okay, I can do. Now it's like more of a paid thing, but then that helped me create my base. Because of social media I became popular, that yeah, there's someone, she's painting there and all. I had done one exhibition, but that was okay. But since 2015 I got my work permit, I started doing exhibition properly, like formally. I started approaching, like, that's the way that I started professional art, really. And since 2016 onwards, which actually picked up all everything. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's मतलब पापा को कितना बुरा लगा होगा कि none of the
No, no,
kids,
he's so proud. He
he's
promotes.
happy.
I'll tell you, he has written a book on creative learning. So
Uh,
he knows about the holistic approach of a person. He actually tells people, like, if a child is involved in creative, anything creative or any aspect, uh
Stop.
Three Idiots movie
Yeah.
came much later. He had
But
written the book much
yeah,
earlier than Three
yeah.
Idiots.
That's very progressive actually. Very progressive of.
Yes.
I'm happy to hear that. So हम लोगों का जो audience है, a lot of people I bet
Mhm.
who would be listening to this video, they may not be knowing
Mhm.
about Mithila art per se.
Yes, of course.
So let's talk about the art form, where it originated and कैसे 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 progress किए, evolve हुआ है over a period of time. Tell me about that.
Uh, Yes, so it's a very ancient art form. Mithila art, a lot of people they know it as Madhubani art form. It's in the north of Bihar and Nepal area, where everybody knows. I think in India, everybody knows Goddess Sita. Goddess Sita was the princess of Mithila, and that whole region it's called like whole north of Bihar and Nepal region. That's all Mithila region, and this art form is from that area. Like some of the people, they say it was during her wedding. Raja Janak asked the whole kingdom to be decorated with the art form. So a lot of people say it began from their wedding, like Goddess Sita and God Ram's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started. But we say it's like the art form was there much earlier. That's why Jana could ask all of them, all the artists, all the ladies basically to decorate the house, because it has been there before that also. That's all. Since then, mostly it was done to decorate the walls and the floors of the whole region, in the villages over there. But it's part of the community culture there in that region. For every, we say, for every ritual from the birth of a child to basically the death, there is a sort of a floor painting we call aripan, is an symbolic ritual. For every ritual it's there. The walls were decorated, still decorated with mythological, all gods and nature related themes, traditional themes, from mythology and nature. It was, but and there are some symbolic paintings for walls also. Some of you maybe knowing of Kohbar as an important painting in Madhubani painting or Mithila painting. We call it Mithila painting. Now, I'll also talk about why is it became Madhubani painting. Uh, the Madhubani is a town in Mithila, and since the when the commercialization began, or when the promotion to the outside world it began, it was more from that region. So people started connecting with Madhubani. So in like
It's
basically
the same.
19th, yeah, it's the
Basically,
same. Art form is same.
same.
But Mithila is the whole
Promotion
region.
वहाँ से
So
हाँ
yeah, promotion started from Madhubani.
from
So
Madhubani.
it just that because the government of India approached the artists,
Hmm.
that and they reached Madhubani first. And before that also, when in Britain, British government also, there was an officer called W.G. Archer. He was visiting the Madhubani and Darbhanga during those days in 1934, basically, where there was an earthquake. So during after the earthquake, he showed some of the walls, and which was like after the ruins, from the ruins, and those walls were so beautifully decorated in those art, the art form. He was literally surprised. He was like, so he took some pictures of those like ruins, basically, I'll say, from those all those walls. And he took those pictures and he collected some artwork also from some of the artists, some of the families in Madhubani and Darbhanga in those region. And he took them to London also, and he had a whole exhibition there. It was there in the museum recently. Those Some of those artwork were auctioned in London. That but
This,
and then
ये जो story है ये कब कौन से साल की which year?
1934.
1994. Okay.
And then but then this also didn't bring the art form totally in the limelight. It was there in UK, in basically, but in India, in again in 70s, there was a famine in this Asian. Then government of India decided that how to help those people. So in those days, this craft museum was there. They were like, why don't we, they have a very beautiful art form, because
Hmm.
what's the special of these villagers, what they can do to have a source of living. So they knew about the art forms. I think the art form is such beautiful. Why don't we ask these artists to create these art forms on paper, and which we can take it to the market, and they can have a source of earning. That was the so they sent an that time Pupul Jaikar, she was leading this thing over there at museum in Delhi, and she sent, there was an artist in from Maharashtra called Bhaskar Kulkarni. He was sent to those villages to speak to the ladies. The thing was that most of the art form, the whole art form was done by the ladies, but due to Parda system, it took almost an year for him to reach those ladies and to the families. And they were like, they were not like, they didn't want, they couldn't allow the women in the first family to speak to him.
Hmm.
So that time also the males only were discussing and all. And they had the, and nobody had thought of that we can sell this art form. They
Hmm.
always said, we do this for like God and family and all, we don't do this to sell, we cannot. So that was the thing. And then but then they were persuaded and all. So he gave them some money. Okay, whatever you have, this, we give you paper, you can draw something, and I'll give you this money. When that money started coming to them, and then they said, oh wow, we can do something. Then families started helping, approaching, like they started appreciating this, and they started, okay, now we can help, and then we can participate in this. So the ladies, even then, they used to do all the household work, and then they used to paint in the evening and the night. Initially, it was like that.
Yeah.
And they started selling, and this reached the market. Later on, after some time, it became more formal with like proper government institutions were formed, from where these artists started getting those papers and supplies, and the paintings, they were able to give those paintings to them, and then they started, and they're reaching to the various art fairs or different museums all over the world. Some of these artists were, they were and then the interest of many foreign researchers came. They went to visit the region and they got interested. So they started interacting with them. Some of these artists were, in fact, invited to paint at Mithila Museum in Japan. There is a person called, he's a very learned, he's such a great guy, Mr. Hasegawa. He is in Japan. He created the whole Mithila Museum in Japan. And the artists and the ladies from the villages of means Mithila, they went there and made those paintings. Even some of them, they traveled to Europe and America, and some of these legendary artists are there. Like there are like all the Padam Shri, and not even the Padam Shri artists also, like there's so many one.
So, now switching from a banking career to completely a creative field, was it
Mhm.
challenging, or was it more of it was more of a situational choice, like you mentioned, कि visa का issue था, ये था, वो था, and but still, did you face any challenge while setting yourself up as an artist in the US?
Yes, that was a challenge because I didn't come from like an art education background or any art background. We didn't have, even for Mithila art also, I didn't have an like the professional Mithila artist background. I
Yeah,
knew the traditional aspects, but I didn't know how the Mithila artists also approach. So I didn't have any background about the commercial aspect of
yeah,
art form in
yeah.
even in Mithila or over here. Over here is so different. So no, I didn't have any clue. So that's why I say a lot of people, when I learned from going to the galleries, meeting the
Yeah.
artists, meeting
Hmm.
the curators. I used to speak to a lot to the curators. Like there, since I was involved with a couple of art groups, like the American art groups that back that time, and that helped me a lot because
Hmm.
there I got the chance to interact with a lot of curators, artists, senior artists. How do they approach? How do they go? I used to volunteer a lot. And that was the reason I was on the board of those art groups. I was a vice president of the art group also. But and those things, they helped me because those volunteering, okay, how to install an art form, the paintings. That was also a basic thing, how to
Yeah,
wire the paintings. So when I
yeah,
went to install the paintings, I learned how to wire
yeah,
because I didn't know how to wire and all. This is just small stuffs. I'm just talking about the basic, but these are also important, like how to write an artist bio, how to approach gallery. So one thing which I like, which also helped me over here, one was volunteering for the art group. Another one, over here in the US, there's a now even India has started adopting that process. The thing is called call for art. So if
uh,
there is an exhibition going to happen, so they publish that we have a call for artists. This will be the theme, this will be the whole process, these are the guidelines. Please follow. Yeah, you can submit. So for the first time, when I was thinking, okay, so it was I saw a call for art, and it came with a theme, like proper theme. I was like, I had never done mithila painting based on a like proper some very different theme, like that one I remember was something related to uh, like anything. It was not the, because till that time I was mostly doing I also was mostly doing the traditional themes of mythology and nature. But when you are talking about a thing, okay, we are talking about self introspection. I never thought about, okay, we can paint about self introspection also. We are talking about there was something yeah, where some world meets. I was like, what all these themes are like, and how to approach these themes. And these were also a simple thing, how to name your artwork. Yeah, and
yeah,
another thing which I came to know, you have to write the title for your artwork. I was like, okay, I never thought that I
yeah.
need to write a title, because
Title.
earlier we said, okay, the painting is of Ram Sita and Swayamvar, and we used to write Swayamvar Ram Sita. That, like, that was our, we used to call the painting. But we never thought, okay, there has to be a title for the painting. The rest all were fine. Okay, medium and dimensions and all is fine. But to think of a title for the painting, and then I decided, okay, no, I'll connect. I'll my name, the names of my pen. Initially, I also started writing in English only, but then I said no, it has to connect to the roots. So I started having some Sanskrit, Hindi names like. So most of my artwork has those names. But then obviously, since people won't understand, so have a like with a hyphen, I have the English version also for that.
So, what's your husband's take on this? What does he do?
He's in IT. Yeah, he's an IT consultant, and he also supports. He supports. A lot of time he was like, since you are, why don't you go back to the regular job? Because one thing is there, this is not that high paying, uh,
Huh.
and uh, and if you want a career, the traditional mindset was always there. This can be a side gig, not the main gig. If you want a high paying career,
Yeah.
so the first thing for everybody in my thing was like, if you want a high paying job, or if you want like a self satisfying, because over there also I was with the bank and I was satisfied over there also, but initially yes, later on some after like I had to leave because when I was moving here, but over here when we wanted to go, uh, a lot of things were there. If you can start a job, yeah, I could have, but I was like, okay, now why don't I take up my art? So I started, it helped me because for that 2 year break, 2.5 year break I took between. In that time, I was only painting, and that helped my painting a lot. I started painting different techniques. I started using different mediums and modes. Uh, Another issue which I faced when I moved here was I didn't get the supplies of the for the art form which we used to get in India, the kind of paper, the kind of brushes, the paints also which we were used to using in India. I didn't find those paints here, so I had to literally search for the kind of paper or which I can find here, or I moved to canvases. But and then I started we didn't find nibs, those nibs, so I used to experiment a lot with different kind of nibs, different kind of brushes. Over here they had a variety, so but then I had to experiment a lot which worked for my style. So I had nobody to tell. Nowadays, when a lot of people, post COVID especially, a lot of classes and art workshops have started, online art classes from
Yeah.
India, where the traditional artists are taking online art classes. So a lot of artists are emerging now. Back then, there was no one. A very few all over US maybe, but we didn't have anybody to tell me, okay, if I need a nib, where can I find a nib? Nobody was there. So I had to go and experiment a lot. So those things were another struggle, but the phase was there. I used that phase in those things like experimenting, even techniques and themes also. It helped me a lot in practicing. I did a lot of practice.
Which art में funding भी जाती है? When you exhibit in an exhibition, or when you choose a venue, for instance, I'm sure they would be charging something. So
So yeah, there are two type of art exhibitions over here. One is like there are commercial galleries who will upfront charge you, or commercial art fairs and all upfront charge you, like that they charge you a bomb, and then sometimes they are apart. Then the sale is all of yours, like whatever sale is on you. But then there are galleries, a lot of traditional galleries are there who won't charge you upfront, or a minimal they might charge you for submission, or that's like it's like very nominal charge. But mostly a lot of them are like they won't charge you upfront, but then they'll have commission on the sale.
hmm,
So
some
that way they
percentage or
work.
something. Yeah.
So that only happens when there is a sale,
Hmm.
then they will have a commission
They
on that.
charge a
So
commission.
they charge a commission. So these ways, two ways it works. Depends ki, but some of these art fairs are so expensive that it's like, yeah, it takes a while how to approach out, whether to like pay that much amount upfront also. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's also an experience. A lot of people they do, they feel that you got a lot of experience there also, commercial art gallery. So you need to have that balance.
Yeah.
I mostly avoid them, the commercial ones, because some of the curators initially told me that it's better, like if you want to go to those museums and all, they don't like these. Some of them termed it as vanity galleries, but So I tend to avoid it, but yes, that's there, and a lot of people like it.
Okay, okay. I think Nupur, we've covered everything. Is there anything specific that you would like to tell me?
So the current project right now, this weekend on Saturday, it's Bihar Divas. Bihar was on 22nd of March. So on that day, the Bihar Foundation and the Bajana Group, Bihar Jharkhand Association North America, they are celebrating Bihar Divas at the Indian Consulate in New York. So I am curating a Mithila art exhibition for the upcoming new artists. They are going to participate in that exhibition. So that also I'm curating the exhibition. But all those are most of the artists are new in Mithila art, and they want they are exhibiting there. One or one or two exhibitions mostly, I think, but not in US. Yeah, they most of them are like, yeah. So these are participating in this exhibition, and it's going to be a like beautiful exhibition because some of the great talents. Two are like, in fact, high school girls, and that was another.
All Indian
I'm
Americans.
sorry.
All
All
Indian
Indian American, all Indian American, all Indian American. In fact, all are from Bihar and Jharkhand,
Bihar. Arey wah.
originally from Bihar and Jharkhand. So
Yeah.
that was the purpose for this one, because that criteria was there. But there are many artists, Indian American artists, not originally from Bihar. They also are pursuing this art form. We are planning to do an exhibition of the Mithila art of all people, like across all nationalities in US. Let's see when very soon. Maybe we are trying to do that.